What we must do, or forever look back in regret, is defeat Donald Trump and elect Hillary Clinton. It is easy to boo, but it is harder to look your kids in the face who would be living under a Donald Trump presidency.
Man, that's Bernie Sanders just this morning, hurting my ears. He's talking so loudly, continuing to push for unity in the Democratic Party, responding to boos at the California delegate breakfast. He told his supporters to get behind Hillary Clinton or, in his words, to forever look back in regret.
And also this morning, talks are underway for Bernie Sanders himself to be the one to formally nominate Hillary Clinton after today's roll call vote. Joining us right now is Jess McIntosh. She's the Director of Communications Outreach for Hillary Clinton's campaign, and she's joining us here. Jess, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
We just did learn this from Manu Raju, who's reporting that there are these talks underway between the campaigns to have Sanders formally nominate her. Can you walk us through the process? What's going on?
I'm learning as you are, and it's really exciting. I think that there has been a really nice coming together between the campaign infrastructures in the last couple of days, because the truth is we agree on 99% of the Democratic platform, and I think that Bernie Sanders' contribution to Democratic politics this year can't be overstated. We have the most progressive party platform in history, and Hillary Clinton is going to be running as one of the most progressive nominees we've ever had. So the campaigns are working very closely together. I think you saw Jeff Weaver come out and say some really nice stuff yesterday. Everybody seems very happy with the Donna Brazile interim DNC chair move. So it wouldn't surprise me if talks like that were happening. I'm not in those rooms, but I would be thrilled to see it.
So you say you're 99% agreement. We heard Dan Pfeiffer say, 99.5% of Bernie Sanders supporters are behind Hillary Clinton. That all may be so, but then there's this 0.5%.
Sure.
It's awfully loud on the floor of the Democratic Convention. Awfully loud in America, is hearing them right now. So my question is, what are you doing, or are you doing anything right now to manage that protest on the floor for tonight?
Yeah, I think it's important to remember that the people in that hall are the most passionate supporters of both Bernie Sanders and Hillary Clinton. Those are the people that have worked the hardest. So, of course, they feel the strongest. Now, I noticed a really big difference being in the war room watching the TV and being in the hall with the delegates. It really is it's a vocal minority. But they should be heard, and this is the time for them to be heard. I think you saw their candidate talk about Hillary Clinton's progressive credentials, talk about their shared vision for an America and an economy that works for everybody, not just those at the top. I think we're going to see more of that tonight, and we're going to come out of this convention more unified than we go into it, which is, in fact, the point of conventions. It's been a while since we've seen one of these, but this is what democracy looks like.
Jess, before California primary, even right after it, you heard Bernie Sanders sometimes saying, we're taking this all the way to the convention, we're taking all the way to the convention. So they definitely weren't always together and unified. If you just take a look at that one piece of the primary. Now that we're here, and now that we've been in that hall, you guys have been in that hall for one night, is Bernie Sanders doing enough? Are you happy, satisfied with his endorsement? Do you want to see him do more?
Yes, I think he could not have been more full-throated and passionate in his endorsement of Hillary Clinton last night. And then this morning, to see him go to the California delegate breakfast, when that was clearly the most agitating part of the audience last night was the California delegation, and he went right to them and said, it's about supporting Hillary Clinton or looking in the eyes of your children during a Donald Trump presidency and saying you didn't. I don't think it could be more forceful than that. And Bernie and Hillary agree on so very much. Everybody in this room wants to see expanded health care and lower tuition costs. I mean, everybody's on the same page about progressive ideas.
So you think this convention's going well?
I do.
We get that point. There is some news today that doesn't sit quite the same way, I think, for the Clinton campaign. Gallup out with new favorability ratings, and it says that Hillary Clinton's the lowest point in her 24-year career on the national scene, an unfavorability, according to Gallup, of 57%. So if that's what America thought, 24 years leading into today or yesterday, how can this week change that?
Look, I think polls go up and down, obviously. Today, in fact, at the convention, we are going to see some of the most important personal elements of Hillary Clinton. I think she's been such a factor on the national stage for so long that everybody has this idea that they know everything there is to know about her, and that's just not true. In fact, most people don't know what drives her, what motivated her to get into public service, and to stay in the face of such serious adversity for as long as she has.
Did you forget to tell them after during 24 years?
I think she's been busy. She's a workhorse, not a show horse, and that means that she doesn't always toot her own horn when she's talking about why she's doing what she's doing. Today, we're going to see people tell the stories about the people that she's helped who have been forgotten, those small fights that she took on. She champions people who get left behind by our political system, and she has her whole life.
Can you sum up in a sentence what Bill Clinton's going to do tonight? What's his job?
I think he knows her better than anybody else, and he's going to talk about the woman that he has been a partner to for the last 4 decades.
Jess McIntosh, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks.
Thank you.